Hi everybody, Akinia here. Welcome to the channel. So today I will be talking about Little Dragons Cafe, and here are some little tips and tricks to help you throughout the game. These are things that helped me progress through the game and made it like a bit easier. Unfortunately, a lot of these I didn't realize until the end of the game. Go me. So I've come up with 5 tips and tricks that could help you in the game. The first one, simplify your dishes. There would be moments where, let's say you start off with the egg, sunny side up egg, right? As the egg is served more to customers, you will see that you will unlock different slots. So there's like 5 or 6 slots, and you will see that you can start to add different ingredients. It can help, but it's not necessary. I found like it helps the reputation of the cafe if you add and make it a higher quality. So when you add those ingredients, it makes it higher quality. The problem with that is it makes you run out of ingredients a lot faster. Like at the end of the game, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have this, I don't have that. And you're scrambling to find these ingredients because as the days go on, you just don't have enough time in a day to get what you need. So if it says you only need 1 egg, or if it says you only need 1 meat and a rice, leave it at that. Do the cooking game and get the best, rating for that. So get all 5 chef's hats and leave it. Like, maybe later on you may want to do 1 or 2 dishes that are high quality like that, but you guys, it's not worth it. Do not, if you don't have to, don't waste your ingredients on it. Tip 2, gather as many ingredients as possible. I got to the point where I had 100 sugar or I had 100 rice. And I'm good. So like I'll go do other things. Later in the game, I'm like, all of a sudden I have like 3 rice or I have 3 sugar. What happened? I had so many. So gather whatever you see if you can along the way. Like I thought, I would be okay. And at first I was gathering a lot of things and I was like, well, I got so many. I ran out, y'all. And I was like, what happened to all the fish I had? What happened to all of this I had? So gather as many things as possible. If you like, if you can help it, don't skip over some things. But there will be moments later in the game that you will have to just skip some things because you're like, right now, I need meat. Right now, I need sugar, or I need spices, or I need flour. So you're going out specifically for those things. But if you can, gather extra ingredients of extra things. I just couldn't believe when I ran out of those things. I'm like, I literally had 100. What happened? Number 3, ignore the cafe sometimes. When it gets really, really crazy later in the game, you feel like I have to work in the cafe. I have to go help all these customers. I have to do this. And when you do, next thing you know, the day is gone. And sometimes you might not even have time to leave the cafe to go gather ingredients. And then they're like, this dish is out, this dish is out, this dish is out. And you're like, why? Sometimes you just have to ignore the cafe. And not only just for the ingredients, but for story. Like I needed to go do certain things for the story. And because the cafe was like popping, I couldn't do it. And I'm like, you know what? Y'all not getting no help from me today. You're just not. So do not be afraid to ignore the cafe sometimes because, it's important, but it's not as important as they make it sound. It's not like it's the end of the world if you don't help. Tip 4, you don't have to always sleep. There doesn't seem to be any real side effect for not sleeping. So every night at about like 10 o'clock, the cafe shuts down. And then usually at that time, sometimes I'll go out and gather ingredients. That's how I was playing. The day is reset at 6 a.m. You have to get in the bed by 6 a.m. Otherwise, it'll go into a new day. The girl or the boy, whichever one you pick, they don't feel any fatigue or nothing like that. Like, it isn't like they are slow or groggy or operating differently. Like, they just go out through the day. Like, sleep is not that important. The only thing with sleep is that it saves. So if you know you've done a lot and you need to save, you need to jump in that bed. Other than that, the sleep is really not that important. Let's say you're out far gathering ingredients and you're like, I want to continue in this area. I need to finish doing or getting whatever I'm getting. Finish it. Just keep going. And then the cafe is going to open at like 8. So just use that time. So you don't have to sleep. Like there's no real side effects for not sleeping. So if you're like, I'm doing stuff, I need to be here, I need to get this done, I'm almost done with this, go on. Skip sleeping. And number 5, entering and exiting the cafe at the rush hour times. I found that certain stories will not trigger unless I entered the cafe at like the 12 o'clock slot or at the 6 o'clock slot or left out at those times. Like most of the stories are triggered early in the morning and the next day. So that's another thing with sleeping, is that it triggers stories. So that's what is important with sleeping. It's not so much about the character. It's important, you know what? No, I was going to say it's important for your dragon too, because then it replenishes his stamina. I mean, you can give him food and he will replenish his stamina. You can pet him or whatever and it'll help. So there's ways to replenish your stamina, but I think automatically the next day it replenishes. So whenever you're playing throughout each day, especially when you're going through a story, make sure to enter and exit the cafe at those rush hour times. Come in at 12, or leave out at, like you're going to be working, so leave out at 12 and come back in. 6 o'clock, leave out and come back in. And then at nighttime, something might trigger. This isn't a hard game. If you want to check out my review on the game, where I talked about the aspects of the game, what makes it good, what makes it bad, and go from there. You might get bored of this game. I'm not going to say you won't, because there were moments when I had, because it got so redundant. The game took a long time for me to get through, and when I thought I was done with the game, I wasn't. It just kept going, and I'm like, I don't know what people write as being like the time that, how people are like, oh, this is estimated time to finish the game is like this many days or this many hours. I don't know what it is. For me, it was very long, and I was going through it as fast as I felt I could. Even now, there are still parts of the game that I haven't finished that I can go back and do, but I don't think I will, because I think I'm just done with it. But hopefully these tips will help you progress through the game faster. Check out my rating and how I felt about the game, and I will see you guys in the next video. Subscribe and hit the bell. Bye!